Hello, good evening. It's your boy again, Okula for Paul. I want to welcome you all to this week Zoom's weekly real estate review. Our topic of discuss today is landlord laws right in Nigeria. It's very important. Last week we discussed on tenancy law. It's very important for a tenant and a landlord to know their rights so that they would live in peaceful harmony, so that none of them will be found wanting violating the landlord tenancy law in Nigeria. All right, stay tuned. Let's get to the business of today. All right, quickly, the content. There are about 8 contents containing the 8 laws or rights of a landlord. Number 1, the right to own a property. Number 2, to receive rent from tenant of choice. Number 3, to review rent. Number 4, to evict tenants. Number 5, to issue quick notice. Number 6, periodic inspection of properties. Number 7, right not to reimburse tenant. And number 8, right to sue and be sued. All right, I'm going to elaborate on each and every one of these laws. All right, here we go. Landlord's law number 1, right to own a property. Here we go. It's actually constitution is rightful. It's a law or the right of an individual in Nigeria or every citizen of Nigeria to own a property. Any property you bought, land or built, it's actually a landed property. It makes you the owner of the land. So that makes you what? Automatically landlord. It's lawful. Number 2, to receive rent from tenant of choice. All right, it's actually the right of the landlord to decide to whom he or she wants to rent a property to, without mixing of feelings or words. They decide who to receive rent from, and they decide the kind of tenant they want. It's their right. All right, number 3, rights to review rent. It's very important we know that landlordship is a business and they're out to make profit. So most landlords, or it's the right of the landlord to actually review their rent annually, as the case may be. But this must follow a due process based on the agreement between the landlord and the tenant of that particular complex or that property being rented. Number 4, landlord's law, which is rights to evict tenants. Actually, it's the right of the landlord to evict a tenant who willfully or lawfully choose to violate the tenancy agreement or the landlord's or any of the landlord's rights. The landlord is at right to actually evict such tenants. Right. Number 5, right to issue quick notice. It's the landlord's right to issue a quick notice to every tenant. Like I said last week, if you are on a daily rent house, it's 7 days duration. If you're in a monthly rent house, it's 1 month duration. But if you're in a yearly rent house, it's 6 months duration. All right, take note. It's very important, and it's the right of the landlord to give you quick notice before eviction. Number 6, rights to periodic inspection of properties for damages. Yes, this has actually caused a lot of problems. Of course, we know the rented property is a demised property, and is expected that the tenant is supposed to have some privacy. So for this right to oblige to be performed by the landlord, he or she must duly inform the tenant, right? Seek the tenant's consent about 7 days before the inspection of the property, because it's a right to actually assess for damages and make repairs as accordingly. All right. Number 7, right not to reimburse tenant. All right. This actually is a right of the landlord, especially to those tenants who willfully or without seeking landlord's consent pay for repairs or make repairs for any damages. All right. So if such tenant seeks for a reimbursement, it is not lawful. Okay, it's actually not lawful. So it's lawful for the landlord not to oblige, because before any landlord should make any repairs, he must seek consent of the landlord, and a proper agreement must be made of whom is to fund the repairs. Number 8, the right to sue and be sued. Of course, everybody in Nigeria have the right to be sued or sued if found wanting. So similarly, it's applicable to both the landlord and the tenancy right. Okay, we are actually open for questions and comments on our YouTube channel, WhatsApp, Facebook. We are ready to respond quickly and swiftly to your questions. All right, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your strength, for the success of today. I appreciate. And let's stay tuned, because next week, or this week especially, we are coming up with a better topic which will be updated tomorrow. Thanks. Good night.